Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about suppressing a Romanian PSL. Now I know right about now there's a bunch of you guys going, holy cow, you can't do that, you're out of your mind, you're going to blow your gun up. Well, that's not true. Well, it is true if you didn't modify your rifle first before you suppressed it. The PSL as it stands is already overgassed, and if you shoot anything over 150 grain rounds out of the gun, you run the very real risk of damaging the rear trunnion of the rifle. If you shoot the match grade stuff in the 200 grain range of the 54R, you're definitely going to damage your gun, and it doesn't take a whole lot of ammunition to damage it. So by putting a suppressor on the end of a PSL, you can really do some damage if you don't first modify your rifle. What I have here in front of me is a Romanian PSL, and it's in 7.62 by 54R. This is my buddy's, the cameraman. This is his rifle. And when he originally told me he had suppressed his PSL, I thought he was out of his gourd. I said, what in the world did you do to it? Because I knew within a couple of rounds it would pretty much blow itself up. And he explained it to me, and we brought the rifle out here this afternoon to do some shooting with it. It's already been fired. If you follow me on Instagram, and you should, you'll already know that we've been firing this rifle suppressed. All right, so what we've done now is we come out to the 1,000-yard range today to do a little bit of shooting with it to see how it shoots accuracy-wise with the suppressor in place. But now let's talk about what you have to do to the rifle to suppress it. Now, I'm not recommending you do this to your rifle, guys. It's a pretty sketchy operation. He literally did this with a hand drill and a hand tap on his kitchen table. Okay, it's not like something that he did with the benefit of a full machine shop, and I wouldn't even necessarily say he's a gunsmith by trade. This is something he did on his own, and if you do it to your gun, you could really screw it up, okay? But I'm going to explain to you what he did. Now, here on the end of the rifle, you'll see that we have a Recce-7 suppressor. This is by Griffin Armament. It's a 30 caliber suppressor. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew it here and show you the muzzle device. It's just a standard Griffin muzzle device, because Griffin Armament makes these for 14x1 left-hand thread, which is what the PSL uses. So you'll need to buy this, an adapter. Only a few companies offer them. Griffin's one of them. And then run a 30 caliber can. A standard 30 caliber can will work just fine. Now let's talk about what has been done to the PSL itself. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and remove the Pso Scope here, break the gun down so we can see inside of it. This thing is a very tight fit. Let's see if I can pry it off here really quick without breaking something. It's one thing I've noticed about even my PSL. These gas tubes are tight. There we go, it's coming out. Okay. So, all the work that's been done has been done right here in the gas block. You have a gas port that comes up from the barrel into the gas block here. I'm going to put this Allen wrench into the gas hole so you can see you can access the gas hole at an angle from this area of the gas port. Now what he's done is he's taken a 5/32 drill bit and a hand drill, okay, and by hand he drilled out that gas port. Now you do not want to drill all the way through into your barrel, all right? Because if you do that, you're going to screw up your barrel, and it's simply not going to work right. It's going to destroy the gun. So you cannot drill all the way through into your barrel. You just drill far enough down into it to get one of these stainless vented cap screws, which is threaded. It's a 10-32 by 3/8 screw, so you can screw that down in there where it's about flush. Now this screw has a hole in it, okay, and the hole, this is from McMaster Car, is the company that sells these. This particular screw is the exact right setting, gas port wise, to run the gun suppressed. Now if you want to run the gun without a suppressor, it's going to be undergassed once you make this conversion and screw this into it, okay? So you'll need to take more of these and drill these out and do it, you know, slowly increasing the port size until you find the right amount of gas to actually operate the gun. It's not a fine science, guys. And what you definitely don't want to do is once you've made this conversion, start firing it without this plug, because you've taken away a lot of material inside here. You can fill up with carbon. Even though you haven't drilled all the way through, you may have still weakened that gas port. I don't recommend firing it without at least putting the right size screw in there with the right size port. And again, it's not a fine science. So that screw once it's in here, will actually be the proper amount of gas. So once you've drilled this out, all right, that's with the 5/32 drill bit. Now you're going to take, whoops, and drop the tap, the 10/32 tap, and you'll stick that in there, and you will tap that hole. Now, both in the drilling process and in the tapping process, you're going to want to go very, very slow and use copious amounts of oil. If you break the drill bit off, if you break this tap off inside here, you're going to have some serious problems. You're going to screw the gun up. So you're going to go in, you're going to bite some threads, back it off, oil it, go in a little bit further. It took about 2 hours total to do this conversion. All right. Once you get that tapped, then you can screw one of these into it, the little vented cup screws, and you will use just a standard Allen wrench to reach in there, right there, actually into the screw, and I can turn it, okay? So that's the conversion process. Once you put the gun back together, you will have a suppressible PSL. Now the price on these things is going up. They become more and more collectible. There's a bunch of different types of these rifles out there. There's Romanian imports, there's hybrids that are half American, half Romanian. There's all sorts of stuff out there, but there's no doubt that these rifles have become more and more expensive. So doing this to your gun is risky. And once again, folks, I don't recommend you do it. Now you've seen what we've done to get this gun to run suppressed. Let's do a little bit of shooting with it, see how it groups with some of the ammunition we have out here. Also, keep in mind, you don't want to run corrosive ammo. A lot of the ammunition that's available for the PSL, the 54R, is corrosive. Once you start shooting this suppressed, you do not want to use corrosive ammo with the suppressor, or eventually you can kiss this suppressor goodbye. All right, let's do a little bit of shooting and check this bad boy out. It really is very, very cool. So pretty much the only thing we have out here that's running reliably out of it right now is the Tula ammunition. And this stuff is 148 grain ball ammunition. And it's really cold. It's like 10 degrees today and the wind's blowing straight in at us. This stuff is not the most accurate ammunition, to say the least. We're not really getting decent groups. We've tried some of the match ammo, the Hornady match, and it's just barely cycling the action, so we can definitely tell that the gun is not over-gassed. This little pile of brass right here, this is where it was throwing the Tula last time Jason fired it. I guess it helps to get the magazine all the way in the gun. All right, I think it's in. All right, so now it's definitely loaded. Now watch the ejection pattern on this thing. I'm gonna try to hit a steel plate out there at about 100 yards. And it should just be throwing most of it right there, so you can definitely tell the carrier velocity is really low. Probably have to drill that porthole out in that screw just a little bit to give it a bit more gas. No, I'm not using eye protection. As I've said before, it doesn't work well for me. And optics, especially these Russian type optics, I don't recommend shooting without it. It seems like it's just a little bit off. I could feel it malfunction. It's just a little bit undergassed. Let's see what happens when the smoke clears. It looks like it overrode the round in the magazine. It's kind of dark in there. So the bolt didn't come all the way back to pick up the next round. It loaded. So it's definitely just a wee bit undergassed. And as you can see, it's just throwing the spent cases right there. And it's shooting all over the place at 100 yards. There we go. So I think it's a little bit low. There we go. Yeah, just a little bit low. Yeah. No, now it's off to the right. All right. So, I will say this. The suppressor actually helps to tame the recoil of the 54R quite a bit. It's really pleasant to shoot. I would say it probably kicks just maybe a little bit more than a 7.62 by 39 AK. It's really pleasant to shoot like this. A lot of that is because the bolt carrier isn't slamming into the rear trunnion like it normally would under normal conditions without a modified rifle. It's a lot of fun to shoot. We're going to finish things up this afternoon, guys. I hope you enjoyed coming out and seeing the PSL fired suppressed. It's not something you see every day. The rifle that this conversion has been done to, my buddy Jason, he picked this rifle up on a discussion forum. It was used. It had some rust in the chamber and the barrel. That's why he decided to use it as a guinea pig. Now, this conversion process isn't something that he invented himself. He read about it on the forums and decided to give it a try, and he chose this rifle because it didn't shoot all that great to begin with. We were hoping, though, maybe by suppressing it, we could get it to settle down and maybe the groups would change. So here's a sample of some of the groups we shot with the tool ammunition and some of the other stuff we shot this afternoon. See a group here. This is another group over here. So 3.5 inch groups. I mean, maybe you hit a deer if you're aiming at it. So yeah, interesting to say the least. It was a lot of fun. It's not something you see every day. Is it something that I would recommend you guys do? I've already said no. I'd be very careful if you do decide to do it. Now, as you also saw this afternoon, we were having some trouble with the gas. It's undergassed, if anything. So what Jason's probably going to do is take some of these. He has plenty of extras. These cost about $6, and that's really the cost of the conversion if you have all the other hand tools necessary. And he's going to drill some out and try to give it a little bit more gas. It was way undergassed with most everything we shot out here this afternoon. So if you guys would like to support the Military Arms channel, you guys can do that by shopping at coppercustom.com. You can even pick up one of these cool patches. They're $3.99, and it really does help out the channel quite a bit. Also, please come by and check out Full30. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best content creators in the firearm space and brought them under the one roof, which is full30.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.